real scientific, real science, real fun.
Hi, I'm Edna, and I am going to teach you how to make what I call a cheater's tiramisu. Tiramisu is usually made with egg yolks, and it's a very complicated process. What I'm going to teach you to do is to make it without the lady's fingers, because nobody wants to make them and you can rarely find them, and how to make it without the egg yolks, which a lot of people have a problem with the egg yolks. I am using a classic white cake mix, and this cake mix, you make it the same way you would make the cake, and you separate your egg yolks. Just use the egg whites the way it calls for in the recipe on the box of the cake mix. I need both bowls. The only difference is I am not going to be using a double boiler to make the custard mix that goes with the mascarpone cheese. We're still going to use the mascarpone cheese, but we're going to use it with a different product, and not with the egg yolk on a double boiler. There's my egg yolks. You can use those in something else. They do keep, I can usually put those in a plastic bag and put them into either the refrigerator and use them later for when I really want a cooked custard or something like that. What I'm doing is making the cake mix first. It's just a regular boxed cake. They always make these so hard to get into. I don't know why they do that. Well, I do know why they do that. They do that for public safety. Okay, now you make it per the instructions. A cup of water, your oil, your egg whites, excuse me. This is a regular white cake mix. You're going to let it whirl for 2 minutes. Scraping down the sides. Oh, I moved my spatula. To make sure that it's all incorporated. Scrape the sides. It's a pretty white color, which is going to take the color of the coffee and the mascarpone really well. What you're going for is to make the layers really pretty. Now I usually use 2 boxes of the cake mix. I'm only going to use one for right now. because my oven only has space for one rack. So I'll do them separately, that way they all come out at the same time, the right shape and everything. And that's my 2 minutes. And shouldn't have done that. We're supposed to let it mix. While I am getting the whisk off, cleaning it off, getting all the good stuff off the cake mix, I am going to pop this off. That off. And get my pan. Now, this pan is a large cookie sheet. I'm doing a large cookie sheet because I want my layers to be really thin. I'm using parchment paper so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. I usually use my Silpat, but these are new cookie sheets and I don't have a Silpat that fits it. Now you should have your oven preheated to 350. I had it on a while ago. It's just that I turned it off to put the pans in. Put your first cake. Now you should have greased and floured your sides. Now I'm not putting the cake mix up on the sides of this because I want it to bake in. And because I'm going to cut these, I don't have to fill this into a pan. This is almost like a trifle. Cream I have made, it's 1 cup of sour cream, 1 cup of mascarpone, and 1 cup of whipped cream. And as you can see, it makes a nice fluffy pale yellow. This is almost as good as the one that takes the 6 egg yolks. What I'm also doing is instead of cookies, I have a thin cake layer that I am slicing. It's much softer than the cookies, so I don't have to dip them into the espresso. You're going to need to brew at least 2 cups of espresso. I'd rather overdo it than underdo it. And a half cup of unsweet cocoa. The unsweet cocoa, you bloom it in hot water and then you let it cool off. You're going to make that with boiling water, make your espresso with boiling water, and then let them cool. After you've let them cool, I've got a bowl, and I also have a aluminum pan. Half of this mixture is going to a family party tonight. So what I'm doing is I am taking my rounded edges and putting them into the bowl. I'm doing cake first. If they break apart, that's fine, because once you get all this in and add the coffee and the chocolate, you're going to press it down a little bit and it will become one thing. Now, you take your espresso mixture and you just kind of drip it in a little bit at a time until you get it on just about all the surfaces. You don't want too much because the espresso is kind of strong. If you miss a little spot, you can just smooth it with your spoon. And there's your first layer. Now, I like to take this cheese mixture, which is the mascarpone, the whipped cream, and the sour cream. And as you can tell, this stuff is lovely. I will put it on this mix here in this cake, and then I will spread it out. This is almost like a trifle, which means you're going to combine the wet and the dry until you form a layer. Once you got that layer, then you take a little bit of the chocolate and you just kind of drip it on. Most of your ingredients are sweet. You've got 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar in this. I use heaping powdered sugar in it. Heaping spoons, which means it's just piled up and dumped. Once you get that on, then you add your other layer of cake. If it tears up a little bit, that's fine. You can even break some of the pieces to fit them in where you want it to fit in, because once it's in the bowl, it's going to be topped over with the coffee. Let me grab my paper towel because the fingers are getting a little sticky. Add your coffee. You're not really using so much that the flavors overrun each other, what you're doing is you're adding just a little tiny bit of each item. So when you do cut into this, you get that lovely white cake. You get the sharpness of the espresso, the bitter sweetness of the chocolate, and it makes such a lovely little bite. Once you get it all spread, I have another one of these to make. You put it in the refrigerator and you let it chill. And this dessert serves, this small dessert right here serves 4. If you use a bigger bowl, you just double the recipe. Now, once you have that all on there, you take your coffee, your chocolate, you put it on, and then this will be my last layer of cake. I like to leave little holes so that the cream gets down into it. Once the cake is all baked and everything, I cut the ends off of it so that they fit down into the side of the bowl. Make sure you have little holes for the cream to drip down. And then this last layer I press. What I want to happen is the cream to come. Once you've done that, I'm going to put this out of the way for the next one. And you use your spatula to put the last layer on, but I'm going to use the spoon to spread it. Because the spoon makes prettier pattern. And you just spread it like that. You can refrigerate this. You can make this ahead of time and refrigerate it. And hole. And there you have my cheater tiramisu. And once you've got this all done and everything, you can decorate the top. I like to take a little cocoa and sift it onto the top. And after that, you can use some your favorite chocolate chips. And depending on what food allergies people have, you can use nuts, you can use any type of fruit on top. I think it just makes it really pretty. And after you do that, you put it in the refrigerator. And that's your perfect cheater tiramisu. Now I'm going to be doing other recipes. I'm basically going to teach you to cook. And it's not going to be so hard that you have to make everything from scratch. I like it to make things from scratch, but I don't want to spend all that time in the kitchen when there's perfectly good prepared things that I can use in my cooking. It also makes it easier for someone who is not a pastry chef, or a chef for that matter. I am a home cook. I cook for my family, and I have to come up with things that they like that don't take up so much time, that makes me crazy and makes them crazy because they have to wait on me. So from now on, when you see this face, just be prepared for some shortcuts. So thank you and goodbye.